Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk About. And in this episode we're going to be talking about SCP-610, or the Flesh That Hates. Now, this article has a picture. Now let's say if you have a weak stomach, you may want to look away. Picture looks like this. Now, I have been looking at this for a long time, and I swear it's disgusting, but it's also holding my attention and I have absolutely no idea why. It is captivating me, and is also wanting me to go away. The text under the image reads, SCP-610 infected individuals and the converted environment. Visible are the animate infected, an inanimate infected, a non-human infected, and several unknown infected. This was a suggestion from a returning viewer to my channel, and because I have and will always appreciate the support, I thought it best to talk about the requested SCP. Now, this article is on the longer side. However, I am excited for this one as the picture is rather horrifying, which means it's probably going to be good. One thing I am going to be doing is I'm going to be making this into two parts. Reason being, there are field logs at the end of the article, and they are each individually really long, and I want to give them justice. So, this part 1 is going to be the main article, and part 2 is going to be those field logs. We're going to go over them. And it's going to be good because it's going to be giving them justice, something I want to do. Object class is Keter, meaning it's extremely dangerous and typically very hard to contain. And without further ado, let's begin. Special containment procedures are as follows. Because the area of infection is so vast, containment is impossible. Instead, isolation from the vast area has proven much more effective, and the Russian government has given authorization to establish a perimeter to keep people away. So it's impossible to contain. Great! Just what I wanted to hear! It's in Russia, so at least we know the location of the area of infection. Whatever this pathogen is, it's super infectious, and apparently we can't contain it. Perfect. Fabulous. Wonderful. If anyone shows any sign of infection, immobilize and move as far as possible before complete incineration and execution. Any person who touches SCP-610 infected life is considered expendable and shall be terminated immediately and incinerated. Any person who comes within 3 meters of any infected life shall be isolated and medically examined robotically to see if the person is infected and or to see how the infection affects them. Sounds to me like the Foundation is taking absolutely zero chance at this thing getting out. They are extremely ready and willing to kill their people, whether they may be infected or are infected. I wonder what the symptoms or telltale signs of the infection are. Is it like a normal infection, like a fever, or something different maybe? SCP-610 mostly spreads through physical contact. However, in highly concentrated areas of infection, drones have picked up minimal particulates in the air samples. This can cause infection, but slowly, unless it's exposed to lung or liver tissue. If that's the case, the infection must be incinerated soon after it starts to infect, or a site-wide effect will start to take hold. Given that kind of rapid growth only occurs in organic material existing outside the human body, this form of infection is currently considered a minor concern. In other words, it's transmittable through touch, but it's also airborne. So, what's the gist of that information? Do not go inside the area of infection. It will kill you. From what I can tell, it's only airborne inside highly concentrated areas of infection. And as long as you stay away from those areas, you are safe. Unless, of course, you touch infected life. My only questions would be, like, how quickly can it spread? Like, I assume all the precautions, it spreads extremely quickly, because, like, it's super, like, yeah, it's locked down. Like, you are not getting through. You know? So maybe it spreads, like, very quickly. The last paragraph of the containment procedures reads, "These peculiarities have given rise to a series of questions regarding the possible origin of the infection in conjunction with the failed data expunge. Containment protocol remains at a scorched earth policy at this time, and no concern for transmission via water or air at infected parameters exists, barring situational changes in the field." For those of you who don't know what scorched earth means, essentially it means destroying everything via fire and artillery. No life can or shall exist in a scorched earth territory. But I want to draw attention to the expunged data. These peculiarities have given rise to a series of questions regarding the origin of the infection in conjunction with the failed data expunged. What failed? I feel like this is important information, so why isn't it shared? I would prefer to know, but sadly the Foundation is cruel and evil, and we will have to move on. But it's very unlikely that SCP-610 will spread through water and air. So currently, I do agree with the Scorched Earth policy. I feel like that, as of right now, can work in the slowing or prevention of SCP-610. But now, we move on to the description. Maybe we could figure out what happens to an infected person. Initially contacted by the Russian government over the disappearances of a few farmers, soon local police went to investigate, and then disappeared, followed by regional police, who met the exact same fate. Then government agents, who also shared the same fate. Then military went in, but very shortly after entering, they retreated, after which the Foundation was contacted and sent in. So the Foundation was even the first in line to be alerted to this possible threat. That just feels irresponsible. I wish I had a date to pinpoint when all this initially went down, but I'm not seeing one yet. People just died. And they just kept going in and dying, going in and dying, and eventually the military went and they ran away due to what they saw. Were they infected? Where's the military infected? I God hope not. In the next paragraph, I'm going to read with an image on screen as the image goes with it. Quote, "The area SCP-610 affects is close to Lake Baikal in southern Siberia. Areas of known infection are marked on the map provided to us here. Containment parameters are marked in blue surrounding these infection areas, and as of present, no further locations have been identified. Incursions into the perimeter must be reported before conducting. Confirmed exploration has to be debriefed on immediately following return." So that map shows where the infections. It's not a lot. I expected a lot more. Or maybe it's just a very big map. I have no idea. However, there are some infected area down in the lower portions of the map. It is spread out a bit, but still pretty condensed at the bottom portion. So, I don't really see much of a need for that top part. But as to what SCP-610 is, it's a contagious skin disease. Initial symptoms are a rash, itching, and increased skin sensitivity. Within 3 hours, the disease will cause blemishes resembling heavy scar tissue to form in the chest and arms area. Within another hour, the scar tissue will have spread to the back and legs. In a total of 5 hours, it will have consumed the victim entirely. Hot temperatures expedite the process. The fastest recorded completed infections have occurred in as little as 5 minutes. That is what happens. That's what this thing does. 5 minutes to 5 hours. That's not a very large range of time. Seems like if you get infected, that's just kind of it. 5 hours around maximum for time. Does when it fully consume a person, they die, or does the person die beforehand? Like, is it like a zombie thing? Like, the person dies and the scar tissue happens? Or is it like they are fully aware of what's happening? Because if they're fully aware, that's a traumatizing thought. A continuation as to what occurs to an infected reads, and before I start this, it's a very long paragraph, so just bear with me. After the completion of the infection occurs, the victim's life functions will cease for approximately 3 minutes, after which they will restart at 2 to 3 times the activity rate of a normal human. Following this, the scar tissue on the victims will start to move of its own accord and grow at a rapid rate. Normal human features start to disappear at this point under the infection, and the path of mutation appears to be largely random. Subjects observed in this stage of infection have been recorded as growing 3 or more limbs of a type, such as arms or legs. The head may become misshapen and elongate or widen out. The parts of the subject may split open, from which additional branches of flesh will grow. The duration of the stage of infection is unknown, and not all subjects appear to progress to the later stages. They become horrible, grotesque nightmares of living flesh that lose all semblance of being human. I hate that. I genuinely hate that. I can truly say that I hate that. It's a nightmare incarnate. I pray to whatever God may listen that a person who is fully infected is no longer in existence. What I mean by that is, I hope that consciousness is dead, so they don't feel what the pathogen is doing to them. If they are conscious and like they are like just kind of back-seated with their body, that would be awful. Continuing on, the disease, once it takes hold, will influence the person. The infected will cease movement and place itself in a suitable place and will root itself. Then the growth will infect inanimate objects. These objects do not spread infection immediately like living tissue does. The Foundation theorizes that this behavior is to produce a good place for the continued growth of other infected. So the infected root themselves. What the hell are they? They create specific environments that allow for a more extreme growth. It's literally like a fungus. But that's also what we see in the picture that comes with the article. How is it growing onto other things? The idea of it rooting is absolutely terrifying. Can it move afterward? God, I hope not. Staff cannot view infected individuals. Data shows that fully infected people will actively pursue anyone who is not infected. If the infected is capable of sight, then anyone not infected in its line of sight will be pursued. If it is incapable of sight, then the Foundation recommends at least 30 meters away just to remain safe. It's kind of a good thing to know that these nightmares go after non-infected people. By good thing, I mean goddamn awful. So this thing can't even be fully researched because it's in active chase of non-infected Foundation staff. It is on a hunt. It is on a hunt, and by God, nothing is going to stop it. Artificial methods can be used to view the infected. Drones have been given the data on the aggressive nature of the infected, which has led to its Keter classification. However, as long as nobody goes inside the perimeter, the threat is as good as neutralized. The only concern is of a cavernous area beneath the perimeter, to which explorational teams will be underway shortly. Okay, I'm gonna... What? Wait, no. It is most definitely not neutralized. And what do you mean by a cavern? What is going to happen to the teams when they go down there? Jesus almighty. Now, my guess is we get to find out what these... like, what that cavern is in these 5 field logs that are at the bottom of the article. Each is very long, and as I said at the beginning, they deserve justice in being read. Now, I don't want this video to be over an hour long. I'm not at that point mentally or capable yet to do, like, more than hour-long stuff. Working on it, though. So, as I said in the beginning, I'm going to split this video into 2 parts. The next time we end up talking about SCP-610 will be its extensive field logs. But with that being said, we've reached the end of part 1 of this episode of Let's Talk About. Thank you all so much for the suggestion, as well as for watching. If you liked the video, then leave a like and subscribe for more. And yeah, leave any suggestions in the comments if you have Anything else you want me to discuss? Remember, it's no longer limited to just SCP. I'm expanding horizons. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!